is Jim Dane. Evaluating Jim is Terry Long. Terry, can you give us Jim's objectives today?
Sure. Today, Jim is speaking from the Advanced Communication Manual. He is doing project number 1, the Goodwill Speech. His objectives are to prepare a talk that will build goodwill for your organization by supplying useful information of interest. Favorably influence the audience by skillful and friendly delivery of your talk. And Mr. Timer, his time is 5 to 7 minutes.
That's you, Jimmy. 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Timer.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm awake.
Jim has been in Toastmasters for over 7 years, and today he is going to talk about the value of being able to talk and think at the same time you are keeping your listeners awake. Can you juggle, walk, chew gum, and talk smartly at once? Jim Dane. Jim Dane, can you walk, juggle, chew gum, talk smartly all at once?
Welcome, everyone. I want to give you a talk today about being a motivational speaker. I'm sorry. Let's start this over. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Toastmasters meeting. How many of you have had the opportunity, and I say opportunity, to get up and talk at the last minute when you didn't realize that you were going to have to? Kind of like table topics, only it's a little more serious. Well, what I just did was a demonstration of how to start a meeting and how not to start. When you come up and talk to a group, be enthusiastic. Wake them up a little bit. Get their attention. Don't come up with your notes and start reading your notes and mumbling to them. You want to engage the audience. Make them want to hear what you've got to say. It never hurts to practice talking in front of people. That's what Toastmasters is all about. It's also going to Dale Carnegie or a rapport leadership class. You're learning to stretch yourself and be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And I encourage everyone to do that, whether it's Toastmasters or go to a Dale Carnegie class. I know people that have, and it really helped them. If you think about everything in life is another form of Toastmasters. When you went on that first date and you had to talk to this girl or guy, that's Toastmasters. You don't know the person. You don't know what they like. You have to engage them and get them to talk back to you, and you learn. Well, table topics is really no different. Giving a speech is no different. You're giving your ideas and the audience is listening, and in some situations you're going to ask for questions later, which is their opportunity to engage back with you. Have you ever had to fire an overweight employee that had been reprimanded and it was time to let him go? And you have to do this without having the company ending up in a lawsuit. There's another example of table topics. You have to do it. You've got to get the job done. At the same time, think about what it is that you're saying so that you don't say something that's going to open up a lawsuit with the company. Have you ever gone to the Christmas party and your boss introduced you to his wife? And you need to say something. There's another example of table topics. You're meeting that stranger, you want to sound intelligent and talk to them. There's all kinds of things that are examples of what table topics and little mini speeches are. Going to a board meeting and having to present a development of a piece of property to the board is a classic example. It's really what what Toastmasters was created for. Now, a few tricks on it. At first, I was thinking, just telling everyone, think fast and talk slow. But that's not true. The more I thought about it, what you need to train yourself to do is to think slow and talk slow. Because if you think fast, your mind's going to start going 15 different directions and you're going to lose control of what it is that you're trying to say. You need to slow everything down. But your mind functions at something like 4 times the speed that you speak. So if you slow down your thought process, you'll be able to keep that all in control and think about things one thing at a time. Instead of having all these ideas popping up in mid-sentence, you've changed what you're talking about. You need to take advantage of the fact that you're the expert when you're talking. They don't know what you're going to say. So avoid the BS. Talk about what you know. And don't fake anything. If you don't know the answer, just say, you know, I don't know that answer. But I'll do a little research and I'll get back to you. The people you're talking to don't know the difference. And so they'll appreciate the fact that you are honest with what you do know and what you don't know. You don't have to answer every question that's given to you. That's something that people, they feel obligated. They get that question and they're stumbling over what's the answer when they probably don't know the answer. So you can always change that question into something similar or related to it that you do know the answer. When someone says, what's the most vicious dog out there? Well, I don't know, but you know, poodles are kind of cute. You've just answered their question with your own question. And that's a trick that lets you talk in an area that you're familiar with. It's fair to end your questions with a question back to the audience. So even in table topics, when they ask you, what is the most violent form of fighting? And you tell them, oh, it's kickboxing. And, you know, I really appreciate that question. What is the most gentle form of fighting that you think is out there? So you can turn it around and throw a question back to the audience as to stimulate their mind. And the most, not ideal, the most trained person that I've seen in table topics is a really odd choice. But if you watch him, he's fantastic. And that's Dr. President Amajad. He has the ability to never answer anything. Almost always will answer the question that's given to him with another question back to whoever's asking the questions. He'll turn it around and say, Bin Laden's not in Iran. Bin Laden, he's living in New York right now. Don't you know that? So, remember these tricks. You can be in control. When you get into a situation where you're having to do a talk, think like a ninja. You know, ninjas only had armor on the front because they always moved forward. They never turned and ran from a battle. So if you've got to do a table topic, just put your armor on, get up there, talk about what you know, relax, and take advantage of the situation. Let the butterflies out of their cage and fly in formation instead of buzzing all around and your mind's going 16 different directions. And oh, where's that note? The most important thing is have some fun while you're doing that.